Hey everyone, what's up? This is Tris, and I'm excited that you're here today. Today we're diving into the world of sports and exploring some outrageous instances of cheating. Sports are unpredictable, but they are enjoyable to watch and play. Athletes, in particular, put in tremendous effort every day. While talent is essential, achieving good results in sports requires effort. Behind their sports results lies a spectacular story that can bring tears to everyone's eyes and inspire cheers. However, some athletes take shortcuts and resort to outrageous acts of injustice to achieve glory. Playing a game that can't be won isn't fun. Winning gives sportspeople a sense of accomplishment and happiness. However, winning must be attained the right way. Unfortunately, the world is so obsessed with victory that some athletes resort to outrageous cheating. Their cunning and audacity often leave us astonished. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you find this video interesting, don't hesitate to show some love by hitting that like button. Let's start with Rosie Ruiz. Rosie Ruiz, a former American amateur runner, made a name for herself through an audacious act of cheating in the Boston Marathon's women's division. Let's delve into Rosie Ruiz's infamous fraud and its impact on marathon history. Rosie originally worked as a metal trader in the 1970s. In 1979, she made her marathon debut at the New York City Marathon, achieving an impressive 11th place finish in the women's division, with a time of 2 hours, 56 minutes, and 29 seconds. This performance qualified her for the prestigious Boston Marathon. The Boston Marathon, often called the Marathon of the Chosen Ones, is a highly esteemed race in the United States, with strict participation standards. Rosie was about to embark on this challenging marathon, and the anticipation must have been overwhelming. The result was nothing short of astonishing. Rosie crossed the finish line with a time of 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 56 seconds, making it the third fastest women's marathon time in history at that time. The world hailed Rosie as a remarkable athlete. However, Rosie's victory had a ludicrous side. It turned out to be an outrageous cheating scheme that nobody could have anticipated. Doubts about Rosie's victory arose, especially from Bill Rogers, a 4-time winner of the Boston Marathon men's division. He hadn't seen Rosie during the competition, and his testimony raised suspicion. The speed at which Rosie ran seemed impossible to observe with the naked eye. Upon investigation, Rosie's fraudulent act became apparent. Rosie's sudden leap to success after only 18 months of running marathons was unnatural. For a world-class marathoner, physical preparation and training take years. Additionally, eyewitnesses reported that Rosie didn't sweat when she reached the finish line, further fueling suspicion. Rosie's cheating method was surprisingly simple. She hopped on the subway after the race began, taking a shortcut to the finish line. How she managed to exit the race unnoticed remains a mystery. Naturally, her deceit was uncovered, and her victory was revoked. The second and third place finishers were subsequently elevated in the rankings. The motivation behind Rosie's cheating remains unknown. Nevertheless, this scandal remains etched as one of the biggest controversies in the history of the Boston Marathon. Speaking of outrageous cheating, let's move on to the world of rugby and discuss the case of Tom Williams. In the realm of athlete misconduct, we often think of doping, which involves the use of prohibited substances to gain a competitive edge. However, cheating in sports can take on a myriad of surprising forms. One such shocking incident unfolded during the 2009 Heineken Cup quarterfinals in rugby, with Tom Williams at the center of it all. In this match, the Harlequins Rugby Club found themselves struggling. Rugby, being a physically demanding sport, can quickly deplete a player's energy. Therefore, strategic gameplay is crucial to success. The game's rules generally prohibit players from returning to the field once replaced, except for cases of in-game injuries. In such instances, a different player can temporarily substitute. The injured party. Injuries in rugby aren't uncommon, and in this match, Tom Williams of the Harlequins appeared to have sustained a mouth injury, bleeding profusely. Seizing the opportunity, the Harlequins introduced their star kicker, Nick Evans, as a temporary replacement for Williams, hoping this strategic move could help turn the tide of the game. However, when Williams made his return to the field, the spectators were left scratching their heads. His face showed no visible signs of injury or blood. The truth, as it later emerged, was shocking. Tom Williams had deliberately chewed a blood capsule hidden in his sock, simulating an injury. This deceitful act was intended to exploit the substitution rules, bringing their best kicker, Nick Evans, back onto the field for an advantage. Unfortunately for Williams and the Harlequins, their fraudulent scheme was discovered, leading to suspensions and fines for not only Williams, but also the team manager, other players, and team doctors. This notorious incident serves as a stark reminder that any form of cheating, no matter how cleverly disguised, ultimately tarnishes the integrity of the sport. Moving on to Hippolyte Aucturier. Have you heard of the Tour de France? It's an annual road race held in France with a history spanning over 100 years. Participating in this grueling 3-week cycling event is an arduous task. In the early years of the Tour de France, before the rules were firmly established, it was a lawless environment where anything could happen. Cheating methods were extremely dangerous, ranging from placing glass fragments and nails along the course to tampering with opponents' water bottles. It was a chaotic and life-threatening situation. Spectators reportedly attacked athletes, and gunshots were even fired, at times to deter them. Among the players involved in these heinous cheating acts, Hippolyte Aucturier stands out. He was a successful road racer in the early 1900s, but had a reputation for unsportsmanlike conduct and numerous instances of cheating. One particular cheating method he employed was unbelievably dangerous. During his second participation in the Tour de France, Hippolyte and some other athletes noticed a car driving ahead of them during the race. They had prepared wire hooks, which they hooked onto the car's bumpers. Essentially, they attempted to be towed by the car on their bikes. To make matters worse, they held the wire hooks in their mouths. Initially, this strategy seemed to work, but other players eventually overtook Hippolyte, resulting in his loss. However, Hippolyte's cheating wasn't the only instance during that race. Surprisingly, all the players who finished in the top 4 had engaged in some form of dishonesty, and they were caught. Consequently, the 5th-place finisher ended up being declared the winner. The 5th-place player must have had mixed emotions about the outcome. It exemplifies the adage that an honest person sometimes witnesses fools. Now, let's discuss Tonya Harding. A former American figure skater, Tonya Harding is renowned for being the second woman in history to successfully perform a triple axel. However, her reputation was tarnished during the 1994 Lillehammer Olympics due to a scandal that was separate from her performance on the ice. Today, we are looking at an unusual incident involving Harding herself. Harding, famed for her proficiency in the triple axel, competed in the technical program and placed 10th. This result was personally disappointing for her. Strangely, she did not appear in the ring until it was her turn for the free skate event. The delay raised eyebrows and created a sense of unease among spectators. Just before facing disqualification due to her late arrival, Harding finally took to the ice. However, her performance was marked by a surprising incident. After a failed attempt at the triple Lutz, her opening trick, she abruptly halted her performance. Approaching the edge of the rink, she placed one foot on the barrier and claimed that her shoelace had broken. While this interruption was unorthodox, it is not considered cheating in figure skating. It's unclear whether Harding's shoelace genuinely snapped or if she used it as an excuse to pause and regain her composure. Regardless, her plea was accepted. and she resumed her performance. Despite resuming her routine, Harding ultimately finished in 8th place. Many questioned her actions, especially her decision to stop the performance to address the issue with her shoelace. Although the event was unusual, it is important to note that this was not a case of cheating, but rather a peculiar incident in a high-stakes performance. The incident sparked a great deal of debate among sports enthusiasts and remains a memorable moment in figure skating history. Lastly, let's talk about Albert Bell. One infamous cheating method in baseball is the use of a cork bat. This involves hollowing out the bat and filling it with cork, making it lighter and increasing swing speed, resulting in longer ball travel. While several players have faced disqualification or suspension due to cork bat incidents, we'll focus on Albert Bell's case. During a game between the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago White Sox in 1994, suspicions arose about Albert Bell's bat. The White Sox manager, Jim Lamont, found the bat dubious and requested it to be temporarily sealed in the dressing room for examination after the game. The Indians manager at the time, Mike Hargrove, was aware of the illegal bat. Fearing the consequences of an inspection, Hargrove secretly ordered one of the players, Paul Sorrento, to swap the bat while breaking into the dressing room. Sorrento successfully executed the covert mission, providing a momentary relief that the wrongdoing would go undetected. However, an unfortunate mishap occurred when part of the ceiling peeled off, exposing the intrusion. To add to the debacle, the name Paul Sorrento was clearly written on the replaced bat, further revealing the cheating scheme. As expected, Albert Bell was suspended for 7 games once the fraud was exposed. These are just a few examples of outrageous cheating incidents involving athletes, from global scandals to amusing tales. Each case brings its own level of intrigue. Which of these stories do you find most interesting? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. As always, take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.